Hello, princesses, and welcome back to Not Fit for Print Beauty with me, Rebecca. Well, it's summer, and I know it's not even quite spring, really, but for Dior, it's summer. Summer in the south of France, even better. Dior has released their summer collection. It includes 2 eyeshadow quints, there's a bronzer, all sorts of good stuff. I skipped the bronzer. Why? I don't know. You guys tell me if I should not have, okay? I did pick up the Pat McGrath bronzer, but I skipped the Dior bronzer. It's not like me, I know, but I did, so tell me if I shouldn't have. But I did pick up this beautiful quint. I could not stop myself, and it is quite lovely. This is the 5 Colors Couture limited edition in the shade 233 Eden Rock. This is supposed to be like summertime at the Hotel du Cap Eden Rock in the south of France. I couldn't resist. I'm not usually drawn to blues, but this time I was super intrigued, and I am not disappointed. This quint and the other one is much more of a kind of nude neutral palette. This one has a little bit more kind of golden blue hues, you know, like the ocean in the south of France. Like I said, I couldn't resist. Also, I like the fact that these are $65. No. I'm not saying I wouldn't want it to be less money. Of course I would. But it's just really nice that it's not $90 like we're seeing from so many high-end brands. I am liking my Dior quints more and more. For years I was just a Dior Backstage type lady, but I am liking the quints more and more, and I will give you a little bit of a spoiler alert. I think this is one of my favorite ones ever. Really usable, really fun, really understated, and very pretty. We are going to go to a demo to recreate this look right here, but before we do that, let's have a look at these shades in 2 different lights. I have attempted to lay them out the way you would see them in the palette with this shade in the middle. So let's take a look first here in studio lighting, and don't worry, we'll go to natural light in a moment, but here it is in studio lighting for you to check out. Really pretty shades, but you know where you're going to see them best. You're going to see them best outside in the warm California sunshine. So take a look at that on my arm in that natural lighting, which really shows you what the palette looks like, and it is delightfully sophisticated, understated, and pretty. All right, we are going to go now to the demo, and you can see if you agree with me, and you can then talk to me in comments about the bronzer. Should I have picked that up? Are you shocked? Something I actually skipped. I rarely skip things. I don't know why I wasn't moved. And should I have picked up the other quint, which is more nude shades? Tell me your thoughts, and go ahead and watch the demo. Stay right there. All right, let's see if we can be transported to summer in the south of France. Now, I have gotten rid of the little cover and the 2 little applicators. Tell me how you feel about these. I have been hearing more and more from you guys in comments that these kind of palettes, some of them do very well with the included sponges and brushes, and here I've been always just putting them aside and grabbing my own. Go ahead and weigh in on that down below if you have an opinion. Many people do. Okay, we have some Sonia G brushes now, and I'm going to start with this pretty ivory shade here. And yes, I'm going to use the blue, and no, I don't usually, but I am today. Okay, let's see what we got. Very pretty ivory as a base. I really like it. It has really been brightening. Okay, middle shade here. Yes, I will do the blue. Yes, I am putting it off. You know, blue and purple for me, I'm just doing this, by the way, back and forth in the crease, the center shade. Blue and purple for me have always been, kind of questionable. Not green, and certain purples I love, but the darker ones, these kind of cooler ones, they've never been my favorite. Same brush, because we don't need extra brush laundry. I'm going to go onto the side here with a little bit darker and just trying to raise my eye a little bit so it doesn't point down. Okay, and we're going to switch to this little Kiyaki brush and put that same brown shade underneath. Okay, a little bit more concentrated. Now that's very pretty, isn't it? that's a look kind of done, really, but I know we're not done. I'm going to go back to that first brush. Again, no need to make brush laundry, and go into this really pretty, very warm shade here, and just kind of put it on the inner corner and over onto the eye. It's got such a pretty kind of golden hue. Okay, now we decide on the blue. There's a few things to do with the blue. If you don't like these kind of shades, like I typically don't, you can do a drop shadow, which is just kind of putting the color underneath. Sometimes drop shadows are gorgeous, and sometimes they just feel out of place to me. I don't know how you feel about that. Again, you can tell me below. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take a brush, and let's just go ahead and put it on the lid. We'll also put it underneath a little bit too, but let's just go ahead and put it in the corner here. I know I'm not going to use it liberally because I don't really like blue. Then why did you get this palette? Well, I'm interested in blue, and I do like blue in small quantities. I think it's because, you guys, you know, there was a time when blue eyeshadow was all the rage, and it just feels, it ends up feeling dated even when it's not anymore. Again, weigh in if you agree. But I think over the brown kind of really tames it down, which is what I thought when I saw this online, and I'm quite pleased. And I think it's really pretty. Now, if you are a blue lover, you could just do a whole blue eye, and that would be lovely as well. Just for me personally, it doesn't really appeal to me. So kind of putting it on gently over the brown, I kind of like the look of that. And I'm letting the brown have its space, but I'm putting a little bit of the blue and then a little of the blue here, just kind of connecting the two. I think that is a really, really pretty look. I think this is a very subtle palette, as we always have with the Dior Quints. But this is, I would say this is my favorite Dior Quint. I have not always liked the Dior palette. I have always been more a fan of the Dior Backstage line, which I know doesn't have the cachet that this does. I'm aware of that, but I just always really liked those. But for me, this is a very, very pretty palette. It's very tame and very neutral with that pop of usable color that, as you see when put over a brown, is actually, I think, really flattering and pretty for any eye color. I have green eyes, so normally you wouldn't think of blue, but I think it works really well because the brown is in there too. So I'm very pleased with this. I'm very pleased with the price point. We're not at $90 like we are for so many other, you know, high-end luxury palettes, and I think Dior knows what they're doing with these. So I'm very, very pleased. Here's what you need to let me know. Did you try the bronzer? As you know, I skipped it. And did you try the other Quint that was released for summer 2023? That looks pretty fun too. Now, speaking of Dior, our lovely community member Belinda was kind enough to tell me about a Dior foundation that she found online only at Ulta. So on her recommendation, or her suggestion I should say, I grabbed it. So we do have a Dior foundation video coming up, and I think it's one of those serum foundations. I told you, I always make my list. I've already done a rundown of my favorites, and there's always another one coming, but we're gonna look at that soon too, and you can go over on Ulta and look at that for yourself if you haven't. So stay tuned for more Dior. Always more Dior. Yes, definitely. So give me your comments below and your thoughts on all these and what you've purchased. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I sure hope that you did. Hey, if you haven't already done so, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I know that YouTube often just kind of suggests videos from creators that you've seen, but actually clicking that subscribe button really helps me out because it helps my channel grow. So I appreciate that very much. And while you're at it, come on over to Instagram and TikTok. Come say hello and give me a follow there too. You can be more involved in this channel if you'd like to be by becoming a member for behind the scenes footage. And you can also give super thanks, as so many of you have done. But in any way that you are involved, I'm just so happy to see you and to have you here. And I hope to see all of you in the next video. Bye-bye.